Hello, welcome to PHP tutorials. So we have been actually covering installation of not only PHP but how to for the end all the tools you need to build a environment so that you can learn web development, which is much more than PHP. So the last few tutorials we have covered the basic set of tools which you need for PHP development and doing some basic programming. Now we are going to move to advanced. Uh, so what that means is that if you want to really do professional level programming, or you want to sort of learn how really PHP programs or development happens, you need more than what is covered in basics. So before I get into that, some of you emailed me about or posted in forums about some questions you had in XAMPP. So let me tell you, so XAMPP, as we cover, is a tool which allows you to install really three things. One is MySQL, Apache, and PHP. So these three compilers. Now it has other stuff like FileZilla, which is basically setting up FTP server and some other things which you don't need, at least for web development purpose. And so that's the thing. So I think, and then other question you had is where MySQL resides. Well, we didn't cover that much on MySQL, but as you probably know that these are the two things which start and stop MySQL. Let me see, MySQL start and MySQL stop. Today we're going to show you a tool which you download, which basically called MySQL client. So with using that, you can log into MySQL database. This XMP does have a tool which is called PHP. It has got inbuilt PHP MyAdmin, but I think you're much better off using this MySQL workbench, which we are going to cover today, instead of using PHP MyAdmin. So with that, let's get started. So advanced part, we are starting with IDE. So IDE means integrated development environment, which allows you to give you a nice little tool to write programs, compile, and all those things. So we're going to talk about Aptana Studio. Now some of you already may be using your you have an IDE like Notepad++ or maybe Eclipse, or etc, etc. But give it a look of Aptana Studio. It's free and it's pretty clean. So let us get started with Aptana Studio. So what you do is that you Studio. Now Aptana Studio has different versions. So as of now, in November 2010, there are two versions available. Well, there are two main versions. If you go to the site, one is 2.0.5 and another is 3. Now 3 version is not really has been optimized for PHP. So you download 2.0.5. So you download. If you are already used to Eclipse, you can download this, but otherwise you just do standalone version, and you can click on download. You can put your name, email. So anyway, so after you download, you install it, and it's just installation is a very simple process. You do next, and it will come. So after you download, Aptana Studio would look like this. So let me launch the application. So I am launching it. So the IDE is a little bit heavy application, so it takes some time to launch it. So it's still coming up. Okay, it has come up. Let me resize the window. Okay. So if you so now let's go over quickly Aptana Studio. Now you can always check help files and to learn how to use Aptana, but let me give you a quick overview. So as I told you, Aptana Studio allows you to code, write your programs. So now first, if you have two options, as you see on the left side, it is files. So you can have local files, which is in your C drive. So this is in local file system. So if you click, my computer is a little slow because of, I think Windows Vista issues, but otherwise it's pretty fast. You should not have any problem with Aptana as such. So as you see, my local file system, and then if you want to say our XMPP location is here, and you have our htdocs, and then we have our first test.php. So you double click test.php and it opens here. So here is our program. Now as you see, it has got coloration. See, it has nicely PHP coloration. The other thing I want to show it to you is that there is something called in code fill or code checking. So that means it knows that if you name a file as .php, it knows this is a PHP program, and it has some inbuilt PHP libraries which allows it to check your code as you type. So for example, let's say, as you see, if I'm typing echo, it does a coloration. Now if I do ECH and then do first program, as you see, there is a red cross marks, which that tells is that, and if you click here, it says syntax error unexpected first program. But basically what it's saying is there is some issues because you didn't that. So let's put echo. So see, the red program has gone away, right? And then if we go here, you again have this one. Okay, so now you remove it. Now we still have a compiler error. Now this is, you cannot depend the red box to do everything for you, but at least it takes care of the basic functions. Like you cannot, it always would alert you. Then you see there is still an error here, but it didn't flag in the red box because we didn't put a semicolon. Okay, so that's one thing. Also, so those are the few things. The other part is that, if you do function, so let's write a simple function, and then as you see, it has got nice little expand close. So there is a little minus sign here. If you close it, so this feature comes very handy if you typically have 5-6 functions, and then you can keep your program very compact, and then have all of them minimized with this, and then whatever you want to edit, you have this. It does also a nice thing. If you have a comment, it doesn't collapse that. As you see here, and then if you slowly bring your mouse here, it will give you the entire functions. So let's say if you copy this again here, and then you say function 2 like that, and then if you do this, see, it's a nice little window. So anyway, these are some of the neat things. So if you click here, it'll get the entire functions. So that is about, and to save it, you just put save here. So that's about the how to open the file and save it. The second part I want to talk about is Aptana allows you to write programs in your local machine and also in your remote machine. So let's say a lot of times when I work with on my site, and that is hosted um, in my ISP. So I can set up a FTP shortcut. So you do this add new SFTP site, and then you can set up a SFTP site. So let's say the web hosting I use is modwest.com, or it's ftp.modwest.com, and then I aspire. So anyway, so this is the you put the username, and I'm sorry, this is server, right? So you put here, you put the site name. So you say I aspire site, then you say SFTP. It allows different options: SFTP, FTPS, both are secure FTP, and then this is normal FTP. So you have to check with your web hosting company if you have if you are dealing with this, then you have to see what protocol they support, and then you put your server name. Typically my server name is ftp.modwest.com, and then you put username, and you put password, and then you test it, and then you put a location. So once you do that, then it will come here. It will come here as a location. So for example, I have set up my iSpire account, and it has a location www.tutorials.php. So if you click here, it's fetching all the files from the server, and then as you are saving, if you open this one, so it is fetching the file from the server, and you can save it. So it is, this takes care of a lot of headache of saving it in local. If you don't have this option, then what you have to do is that you have to save it in your local C drive, and then you have to use some FTP program to FTP, which slows things down. So that's one thing. The other thing it also has is that you can define a local shortcut. So a local shortcut could be, let's say you have really a lengthy path here. C XYZ ABC is a long path. So instead of defining, instead of going all the time here, you can define a local shortcut here. So for example, this particular one, it maps to this one, C VC aspire folder. So I think that explains. So to define a local shortcut, you say new local shortcut, and you say that test1, and then you can define a local path here. So let's say, for example, for me, let's see, I aspire PHP content. So once you do that, then whenever you click here, you directly go to the folder. So those are the things about I aspire. We will cover other programs in other tools in our next tutorial. Thank you.